for the final home game of the season, y'all. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. This is my buddy Grant.
How's it going, City Boys? I'm so excited. Thanks for having me on the podcast. So excited.
It's been a long time coming. We're gonna have a great day today. So Grant, what do you think is gonna happen? What's your prediction for the match?
Prediction for the match. I gotta go 3-1 St. Louis home team, last home game of the season. Already getting packed. I mean, I'm so excited. I think it's gonna be, early city goal. Houston's gonna come back, and then 2 second-half goals to end the home game. I gotta go 3-1.
You gotta pick a goal scorer too.
Goal scorer. Let's go. Ooh, goal scorer. I'm gonna say Tuchel. And then Klaus. I gotta go Klaus. I'm gonna go Tuchel with 2. And Klaus with 1.
Oh, I love that. I'm going with a class 2-1 victory for St. Louis, reverse of the last time we saw them.
Yes.
So that's how it's going to end up. City fans, let's hear it. All for City. Let's go.
Let's go, City!
Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Grayson. I'm here with 2 of my best friends, Ethan and Jacob. Guys, say what's up. Ethan, why don't you say hello?
Y'all already know it's another day in paradise, and I am so glad to be back. We took a little bit of time off, didn't want to talk about the midweek match, but we're back, and what a game we got to talk about. Jacob, how are you doing?
I am so excited to be back on the mic, in your lovely homes and in your lovely ears. Just ready to talk ball with my boys. It's been a great weekend for me, so let's get right into it.
Indeed, it was the last home game of the season. I do want to thank my buddy Grant for helping me out with the little intro there, and a hell of a call on that prediction too.
Props.
He did pretty good there. It was super fun to hang out with my family at the last city game of the year, not ever, thank God. And it was one of my buddy Devin's. It was his first ever city match, so like, what a first match to go to, like a hell of a game. Definitely felt the vibes that it was the last home game of the year. Like everyone was super loud and proud, singing and yelling. It was super fun. Shout out to the supporter section again for an awesome tifo. They got the zombie Berkey. He's in your head. It was tight. It was Berkey. There we go. He's got it.
And he was in their damn head. A
Yeah.
clean sheet. The first one in 14 games or something like that.
15 matches.
Well
15
deserved.
matches. So I think this would have been the 16th, but very happy that we shut that down. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see who's got lineup this week.
I've got lineup this week. It was a really fun lineup, honestly. It was on paper a 4-4-2, but in the attack it was like a 4-2-2/4-2-4, depending on where we were on the field. I thought this lineup honestly gave us a lot of dynamic play throughout the game, and it definitely paid off. But as a 4-4-2 starting between the sticks, the man of the hour, the clean sheet himself, Roman Berkey. Then arguably our best back line in quite some time. You've got Thomas Tallon out at right back, Henry Kessler and Joachim Nielsen as the center backs, and then Giannis Horn out at left back. And then kind of dropped off in the formation, but definitely not in play, Cedric Toykert on the right mid side with Akil Watts and Edu Lovin playing that double pivot. I thought Akil Watts again was stellar in the center of the park. And then Marcel Hartel out there at left mid doing God's work over there, truly.
So great.
And then we had 2 strikers, and they both balled out in very different ways. We had the bald man, João Klaus, up top, making space for the first brace as a City player in, since July, I think the statistic was. Simon Becker bagged himself 2 goals this match. Man is absolutely rapid. Usain Bolt, you've got a man coming for that record.
And he's so clinical too, like 2 beautiful finishes. So yeah, definitely got to shout him out, being able to come off a stint of being on the bench for a while and coming into the starting 11 and doing that is definitely a statement saying maybe he should start with Klaus.
No
So,
kidding.
Yeah.
Earning himself a team of the match day performance. Definitely.
yep, him
We
and
had
Marcel Hartel. Yes.
in addition, we used all 5 of our substitutes, and one is a very, very key substitution that took place. Jake Nerwinski came off the bench, as well as Indiana Vasiliev, Rasmus Alm, Kyle Hebert, and Novkeith Thoresen all made way and got some minutes.
Yeah, I will say in the stadium when everyone saw Indy step up and he's about to get subbed onto the field, everyone's like high-fiving. We were like, Indy. So it was good to see him back. I know I called him mid a couple episodes ago.
The most recent episode,
I don't
actually.
don't it feels so
Maybe
long ago,
rage baiting a little bit.
but let's not talk about it.
No, you were just saying he is a midfielder. That's what you were getting at.
Yeah, he's mid. He's midfield.
Describing where he is on the field. Definitely a fan favorite and
Mm.
probably our strongest lineup of the year. I thought the center back pairing so complimentary. Giannis Horn and Totland played so well. Hartel, of course, Jacob, you mentioned it already. Early shouts for next year's MVP. How good has he been? He just sees the game differently. And of course, Edu Lovin. When is he not impactful? But I digress. Y'all ready to get into the recap of this game?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna break it down. Not too much happened in the first 30 minutes, but of course, St. Louis City did kick off the game. They went forward once again. I just love this. I love it. I think it puts our confidence on display. We've been flying high recently, and it's shown right from the start. In the 13th minute, a turnover is caused by Mr. Edu Lovin, the Mack truck, and it falls to Giannis Horn right around the outside of the center circle, who just sprays a perfect ball out to Toykert, who's like cherry picking just a little bit on the inside of the box, right on that corner. And he just puts it perfectly, displays it delicately for Mr. Betcher just to run onto and power that sucker home. It's 1-0 STL, 13 minutes in, just like Grant predicted, an early start for the boys. 18 minutes in, a notable event as well. Escobar for the Houston Dynamo shown a cautionary yellow card after stamping on Simon Betcher. Grayson, you've talked about this. Simon Betcher is so good at using the dark arts, just getting under his skin. And I think what we see in this moment is Simon planting the seed of an idea that would just sprout into fruition later on in the game. Grayson, you mind taking us through the next 30?
Yeah, I did want to mention on Escobar as well. So shout out to the 12th man, St. Louis City's crowd getting on Escobar every time he got on the ball. People were booing him. At the first half, Escobar was on the other side, so I got to notice it from all the fans on that side. So when we did switch halves and Escobar was on our side, we made sure to let him have it. And it did start to frustrate him because he did start to gesture towards the fans. So we could tell that it actually was starting to work. And
That's awesome.
we'll see what happens there. But in my 30, let's kick it off. Things do start to get pretty chippy at this point. Um, there's a run of like 3 fouls in a row called against City. Most of them are pretty soft, but it causes Roman Berkey to rush out to the midfield to tell our boys to calm down and really just like focus on the win. And Berkey can be a little extra sometimes, but my man will let you know how he feels. And he's right. We did start to lose our heads a little bit, and Houston could have very well snuck back into the game if we weren't careful. So good on Berkey to, get ourselves focused on the match and not let these fouls get to our heads. 38th minute, Totland would get a yellow for stepping on some toes. It was a very soft foul. 41st minute, we get a little chance here. Corner kick from Marcel Hartel. He loops it in, glances off of Kessler, and falls to Giannis Horn, who winds up for a side volley, but he whips it just wide. And then we do head into halftime. But just like the first half, City comes out hot again. 46th minute, 2 minutes after the break. a fast break for St. Louis City in transition. A clearance by Nilsson falls to their number 6, Houston's number 6, Artur, who has a terrible giveaway, just intercepted by Marcel Hartel, who sends a looping, perfect ball, sending Betcher rocketing downfield, who is on sides because he was on our half, in our half when the ball was played. So although he's 20 yards past their man, it is legal, and that's on them. And with so much time and space, many men would have let that get to their heads, and done something. I've done that many times, pure breakaway, and I don't know. You get scared, man. It's a long way to go from that point. But Betcher stays calm, shows why he's the professional here. Stays calm and dinks the keeper again, making it look so easy. Um, the vibes at this point in the match were extremely high. My Bud Select was hitting different in that City lead. Oh, it was so good. But Jacob, let's close out the match.
Yeah, I think I've got the most defensive 30 minutes to talk about. This is low key the Roman Berkey show up until the end. But we start in the 69th minute where Houston's able to find Coco Carrasquilla, which if you're following on Instagram, I said that he's my least favorite player, and it is true. I cannot stand to watch this man play against us. When he played for Panama against the US, and he got a red card, I wanted him to never ever touch the field again. Every time he plays us, he always fouls us. So in this match, thank God, he was actually pretty quiet because he is one of their best players. Moving back into the game, Carrasquilla gets the ball at the top of our box. He takes a touch to set the ball up in front of himself, and he rips a shot that Berkey's able to punch wide and away from the danger. A little bit after that, in the 72nd minute, Houston swings in a cross that meets the head of Seabass, who heads it down at Berkey, the perfect footwork from Berkey to slide from one post to the other to get in front of this. Then the header goes down and Berkey does a kick save. He was standing on top of his head, as he usually does. In the 77th minute, the man on the field with the biggest Napoleon complex, Kowalczyk. I don't know if you guys were as irritated with that little man bun player, but he was pissing me off. Yeah. Anyways, he takes a touch and he rips a shot from deep, but Roman Berkey is just better. And he makes an easy save. Never a doubt in my mind. It was, training yard save type stuff. Now my second favorite part of the game happens right in the 79th minute. City gets the ball and immediately starts to counter in transition. Becker plays Alm through. Alm beats Franco Escobar with pace, and the little shit talker himself just ran his mouth. Got shut up by Becker. Got shut up by Klaus. Got shut up by Seti. Got shut up by Hartul and Edu. And honestly, if that's the amount of people shutting your mouth, you had a terrible game. So all he could do when he's getting beat with pace is to try to slide tackle. Completely misses the ball. But he's a little shithead. So he kicks his foot up in the air to trip Alm from behind. Easy second yellow. Franco Escobar. Get to walking, buddy. That's a red card. See you never. I hope you get relegated to some other league way the far away from us. Yeah, so now City's up 2-0. We're up a man and we have 10 minutes to play. And to Houston's credit, they definitely did not give up, because in the 88th minute, Schmidt plays Gaines in, who takes a front post shot on Berkey. Berkey's kick save pops the ball up, and everyone is scrambling to be the first to meet it on its way down. Berkey gets NFL tackled by both a Houston player and one of our guys. Two Houston players start crashing the far post to try and head the ball in, but they both completely miss with their heads, and Latif Blessing headbutts the fucking post.
My mom was dying. She was dying.
I thought the clean sheet was ruined at this point, but honestly, a gift from the soccer gods.
Yeah, I saw the replay. Somebody made an edit of it on TikTok of Latif Blessing's head hitting the post, and it was one of those like sound effects with it over and over, and that's all I can see now. But yeah, my favorite part of the game now, and the reason that I asked the boys to let me do this breakdown, is Kessler plays the ball up wide to Totland. Totland takes a touch and then finds the path of Hartel, who's making one of those deep runs from midfield that we have been missing for most of our season that now he's bringing to the table. He takes the touch towards the end line. He fakes a chip, and then he actually chips in a cross that gets by everyone except Jake Nerwinski. Nerwinski's able to take the ball down with his chest, gets over it, and strikes it perfectly into the bottom right-hand corner for Jake Nerwinski's first goal of this MLS season and first goal as a City player, and also the 20th different goal scorer that St. Louis has had this year, which is an MLS record. Now I wanted to talk about this because we are not we have talked enough shit on Jake Nerwinski this season, and Jake Nerwinski has probably been the most shit talked person online on City's roster this season. And for him to come up big in this moment to seal the game through all the hardships that he's had this season, where really we can point to like 1 to 2 good games that he's had, and the rest have been really questionable. It's a well-deserved goal, a well-taken goal, and I really couldn't have asked for anybody else to have it, especially because more than likely this is probably his last game at City Park, and for him to go out on a high after honestly a pretty low season in City Red, it's just going to leave a better taste in our mouths for everyone involved. So shout out Jake Nerwinski, shout out City.
Yeah, really happy for him to get that. He at first when I saw him take that down, I was like, who is that? Like, is that Klaus up
Yeah.
there? Like, that was a great finish. Great finish for him. And yeah, very, very happy for the lad to get that goal in. And yeah, that record just shows that St. Louis City, we aren't that like one man, one man machine. Like we are a team that contributes with goals from everywhere, which I think will benefit us in the long run once we start to see, our players find their form more and then we'll have multiple people firing in at once. So um good looks for the future for sure.
What a beautiful moment at City Park, which is a place that has produced so many that we've seen so many chilling moments. And just for Jake Nowinski to get on the end of that in this Houston game on it to contribute to a clean sheet as well. I mean, you can only be happy for him. The way that he's talked about this season being one of the hardest probably in his career. He just had a child recently. So in this podcast, we hold our hands up when we need to. We've done it with Dorison, and that's who I thought got on the end of this. I did not think Nerwinski would ever find himself that far up the field, but I'm so glad he did. And we are as collectively as a podcast really proud to be giving Jake Nerwinski his flowers. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope that he finds success through this offseason, whether it's at City or through a different club. I just, yeah, after this game and seeing him and his child with Indy, like it just brings a smile to your face, and it makes me proud to be a part of the club. A part of the club.
That's I guess one more thing I wanted to talk about before we get into our points. It was just the atmosphere around the stadium post match. Um, so after the game, the squad rocked around the full field, of course, clapping for the fans, and then um, in the home end in front of the supporter section, going in for a bow and clapping. And then of course, before we did have a fireworks show at the park. But we had 10 minutes before the show started. So Berkey went ahead and got in net and started taking shots from all the players' kids. And it was just adorable seeing all those little tykes running in and Berkey just selling hard and letting them get their goals, those future City players. So it was a beautiful thing to see, and it is so nice to see all the players enjoying. It was a really tough season for everybody. So, being able to end it on, not the craziest high note. Like we didn't make the playoffs, but we put in a good run. We have a good feeling about the club for next season. And that's just something I love about St. Louis City is, even in the down dark times, we can still find the positives and know that we are a solid club and we're gonna make it out of this little slump and yeah, we're gonna have a bright future ahead of us. So it was a really good night to be a St. Louis City fan and see the fireworks going off in the sky above the stadium again. I think that brings us to our points. Does anyone feel some type of way? Anyone want to kick it off?
Yeah, I kind of want to kick it off, to be honest. Yeah, my point is, and I think we are all in agreement of this, but like we are definitely a playoff caliber team. Now, just to be clear for everybody who did not hear that correctly, no, we are not in the playoffs. We are not actually going to be in the playoffs, but we are a playoff caliber team. Um, the performance between this game and the LAFC game, which we have just brushed over, really show me that we like do have very high quality. We kept LAFC to 1 goal, and then in this match, Houston is like after this game, they're in 5th place, but prior to this game, they were in 4th place, easily into the playoffs. We also had draws against Seattle and RSL, so that's Oh, and we also beat LA Galaxy. So 4 out of the top 5 right now, we have all taken points off of. And all at very different parts of the season. Like we played RSL in Seattle earlier in the year before we had this new surge of German players come in. We recently beat LA Galaxy in Houston. And then to only give up 1 against LAFC, like that's the top 5 teams in the West. And if the number 1 or the number 2 team in the West only scores 1 goal against you, like that really does say a lot. Now there are numerous points in this season that we can point to why we aren't actually in the playoffs. The 2 that stand out to me the most are Portland and Minnesota results, and then the draw against New England, which are moments we definitely needed to capitalize on and didn't. But if you look at this game, we got a clean sheet. Our defense was unified. We had clean midfield play from all 4, and then our forward play was clinical with Klaus taking space to create chances and Becker having ice in his veins. And we're honestly not even truly at full strength. Like Celio's out, Ostrak is out, Indy's coming off of concussion protocol, Joachim still getting back to full fitness after this hamstring injury. Giannis and Horn are both nursing knee injuries right now. Like, honestly, give this squad a full preseason with the right coach, which we will get into. Genuinely, like my offseason delusion has definitely set in, but it's also only delusion if it's unrealistic. But I think vying for a top spot in the league and home field playoff runs are definitely in this team's future. And come March, we are the number 1 team for teams to look out for.
So, Jacob, I'm not necessarily going to challenge you on your point because I agree with you, but I want to make you stand on business, okay? Because right now in the table, St. Louis City is sitting in 12th, which means there are 11 teams that have the chance to finish better than us this season. I want to ask you if you think we can beat these teams currently as St. Louis City stands. All right, ready? Quick
From
fire.
top or bottom? From top or bottom?
We're going bottom to top, all right?
Okay.
Portland Timbers, beat
W.
them. Vancouver Whitecaps,
W.
Minnesota United,
W.
Colorado Rapids,
W.
Houston Dynamo,
3-0 W.
RSL,
3-1 W.
Ooh, interesting. Seattle Sounders,
5-0 W.
whoa. And then the last 2 are LA and LA. But I
have
totally
a W
agree
against
with you,
one of
Jacob.
them.
I totally agree with you. I think that since Hackworth has arrived, we are definitely a playoff caliber team. I agree with you that I think we, at the very least, beat 6 out of those 8 teams that I just mentioned, and we did just beat one of them. So it's hard not to argue. It's hard to argue. Unfortunately, I think that first half of the season just really hurt us. But yeah, going into this offseason, Jacob, 100% agree that St. Louis City is a playoff caliber team.
We had like 8 straight weeks of episodes where all we talked about were draws.
Draw.
If we could have just squeaked out a win or 2 from those, like we're in a different position right now at the end of the season. But anyways, yeah, I'm flying high going to the offseason. I truly can't wait for the start of next season. Granted, this podcast has a lot that's coming to you guys in the offseason that I'm excited for. But as far as on-field play and all that stuff, like March could not get here fast enough.
Grayson, you want to go second, or you want to wrap us up?
I'll take second, and then because I like your conversation, I think that'll be a fun one. So, we talked about moving into next season, what's going to be a big help, and something we struggled a lot with this season is our defense. We had a completely different style of defense under Carnell. So having Hackworth come in, we've seen a little bit of that change. And now, finally, with new signings and players returning back from injury, we've had our strongest defensive lineup we've seen almost all season, in my opinion. And we finally found a defensive lineup capable of keeping a clean sheet. That is the biggest thing I've got here. And that would be with Kessler and Nilsson paired up together. They were perfect together. And hey, that could possibly answer the question of who's going to be Kessler's long-term starting partner, at least for next season. And we saw decent outings for our wingbacks as well. But let me throw some stats for you. So we had Thomas Totland playing in left back. He had 5 clearances, 3 interceptions, 5 recoveries, and had the most duels won in the match with 8. I think he went 8 for 11. Definitely nice to see his form come back after spending a little bit of time on the bench for a little bit. Of course, King Kess performing once again, 6 clearances, 3 interceptions, 4 recoveries, 93% accurate passing rate.
Wow.
We already knew that he was going to be that distributing center back, and he's proven it once again. Nilsson providing another outlet on the defense with a 95% passing accuracy.
Wow.
9 clearances, 3 recoveries for the guy. He was a defensive stalwart back there, and I'm so excited to see him hold that line. Horn had a much quieter game defensively, but still boasted the best passing accuracy out of the entire defense. He was really tidy with a 97% passing accuracy.
Including that
And
hockey assist.
yeah, including the hockey assist. So I'm talking about the passing a lot, obviously, because it is a night and day difference in the build-up play from having 2 different outlets to progress play from instead of just forcing it through Kessler every time. They both can send the ball forward, pick out a pass. We already know Berkey's passing range is already insane. So it was nice to see us stretching the back line and not being afraid to work the ball around. Also, we did kind of reshape our defensive shape. We played in a 4-4-2, but in defense, we played in a 4-2-4. So we had our strikers tucked back to about the halfway line, and Hartel and Two Shirt kind of pushed up next to them. And it's a super simple shape. And it's expansive, but it can tighten easily once they do break the first line. And we looked very organized, and we didn't really get handicapped too much when we did press high. My only negative about this lineup is once again the width going forward. Hartel and Tushirt are both not natural wingers, so we had both of them hugging tight to center field, which is fine. And our width is being provided this time by Horn and Totland pushing up forward. But a lot of the time when we do have our wingbacks being the furthest out wide, we can't do overlaps very often. It'd be nice to have a winger already up there so we can overlap them out wide. So, because whenever we did do overlaps, they were too close to the middle of the field, so they'd overlap and run right into more traffic. We'd end up having to recycle the ball. But the main difference for City is that we can actually recycle the ball now. We can return the ball, recycle it, swip it to the other side of the field. So that's nice, is that the width didn't exactly look perfect, but now that we have a strong back line, we can work with that. So yeah, it was really nice to see Horn and Totland pushing out wide and playing a little bit more offense. But today was really all about Nilsson coming back into the lineup. So shout out to him once again.
I think he's just the jelly to Henry Kessler's peanut butter. They go together so well. They're both very strong aerially, and I have been so impressed by both of their abilities to break lines of defense. And Grayson, you've mentioned a lot about the outside or like the wing areas of the field. But I do think that a strength Toykert and Hartel give us on the wing is that ability for Nielsen and Kessler to connect with them through the center. So it has given us just a slightly different strategy going forward as well. I think early on in the season when Tim Parker and Nielsen were paired together, we saw a lot of balls over the top or going forward, somewhat wasteful, as opposed to now we see it with a lot more purpose and, like you said, that fluidity. Another note on our defense this season, Grayson, we have conceded 59 goals this season. That's seventh in the league. I think that's the second most in Berkey's career, which he's talked about has felt terrible this season. So, yeah, for us to finally put together a clean sheet performance, like you said, the first one in 15 games, it does give you hope about this defense.
Yeah, the only thing I have to touch on is in watching the game, I only saw of all of the defensive actions that took place, the only time I saw one player being Thomas Tollen out of position, he got beat one time in like a perfect passing play between Gaines and the SCH, what, Schultz, Swift, whatever his fucking last name was. The two of them connected for a great give and go that kind of had Tollen in the spin cycle. But then with that, it was Kessler who was able to step over and cover that front post. So that shot, just like, he didn't cover the front post. He covered technically the far side of the goal when angles are considered. So all Berkey had to do was, be responsible for a third of the net. And that kick save ended up, coming to nothing. But other than that, what really struck me this week with our defense is they played together. Like, everybody had everybody's back. The communication was key. When the ball was out of our end, we were stepping high in possession. The amount of times we cycled it back and forth before we were able to find, a good run in possession was unlike us. And then, yeah, like you said, the connection with actually being able to get the ball up top to our playmakers is something we haven't had a lot of this season. I thought our defense, other than, I'd probably give my man of the match to both Berkey and Becker. But as far as team man of the match, I'd give it to our defensive line. They were really, really stout.
Agreed. Yeah, as a unit, they look extremely solid. And you know what, guys? I want to give a little bit of credit to Mr. John Hackworth.
Oh,
Bum, bum, bum. And that will transition me into my point, which is Hackworth 2025. I mentioned it at the end of last episode that I am officially on the Hackworth Brigade. Now I've come with statistics and facts and my opinion to back it up. And I think that really I'm hoping to convince my fellow city boy Grayson here why he should be the man for the job. And I hope that I can convince some of you listening as well if you don't feel that way. Because we saw so much success under Bradley Carnell in our first season. We tried to stick to that same kind of rigid principles, and it just did not work for us. We saw that. I think John Hackworth offers us those similar winning principles, that high press style that Lutz really has instilled into the club with the flexibility that Bradley Carnell just did not bring. We've used 5 different formations since John Hackworth has arrived. Those include a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, 11 times to be fair, so he has a pretty clear favorite, a 3-4-2-1, a 4-1-4-1, and a 4-4-2 3 times. So other than the 4-2-3-1, which I think is just a tried and true method for St. Louis City this season, I think it fits our pieces the best. We've been very flexible. We've been trying to put players in areas to succeed. We've played around with the back line a little bit. We've tried different center back pairings, as well as acclimating our new signings to the team. Leagues Cup was really helpful in that, of course, but the team has gelled extremely well under Hackworth and has succeeded in different areas. Not to mention, Hackworth's record since arriving is a fairly positive 7-6-3. Next to Carnell's 3-7-10, which at the time was the league leader in draws. it looks a lot better. And not to mention, we have more wins in our last 7 games than we did in the first half of the season with a somewhat pitiful 4. However, we look a lot better. Just to wrap this up with a bow, John Hackworth was recently nominated for the MLS Coach of the Year. Granted, 22 coaches were nominated. However, I think it really says a lot that after only half a season in charge, he only took the reins in July, that Hackworth has lived up to that nomination. And so for me, after watching him in post-game press conferences, after taking note of what he says about St. Louis City, the club, the actual city of St. Louis, and his love for that, for me, I think John Hackworth is the man for the job. He knows the club inside and out. He has that experience as a technical director. He also has a decent track record as a head coach. Decent, I will say. So for me, Hackworth is the man for the job. I think that our most recent success under him has a lot of fans feeling really hopeful, myself included, for next season. I think that he has shaped the current squad into a playoff team. And so for me, he is the man for the job. I want to hear from Grayson on his stance first.
Okay, that was very convincing. I will applaud you for your effort there. Um, I have started to warm up to Hackworth for sure. Definitely starting to see um the fruits of what he's trying to instill at the club. I do really love how he's transformed Carnell's Gegenpress into a pretty safe mid press, and then we Gegenpress when we lose the ball high, when we have the players in position, so we're not, stretching thin and getting torn apart too much in the midfield like we had a lot throughout this season. So I do like what he's doing. I think I would like to see him in charge next season. I do want to see a full list of possible nominees, possible players, or possible coaches, sorry, but I do like him so far, so I think I might take him over some random person. We'll see.
Well, since no one else has anything else to say, Jacob, with both hands raised for only the people listening, what do you have to say about John Hackworth 2025?
I'm on John Hackworth train 2025. I'm not going to really get into it, but I do want to hit you, Ethan, with a would you rather Hackworth or these people in the MLS coaching carousel right now. Some of these names you might recognize.
Let's hear it.
Josh Wolf, Austin FC.
I'm going to say a hard pass because Austin has a lot of quality that he has done just worse than Carnell has.
He got fired on October 6th. So,
Yeah.
Don't need to talk about Bradley Carnell. Luchi Gonzalez from San Jose Earthquakes.
He's been working wonders there.
Ian Russell's their current interim head coach. So,
yeah, I'm going to also take a hard pass on that. They need a lot more than a new head coach, though, in San Jose.
So their interim manager put up a decent performance against us. I wouldn't take that guy.
Nico Estevez of FC Dallas got fired June 9th. Peter Luson is their interim.
Also going to say no, just because I think we might pass them based on decision day, the final day. We might be able to overlap Dallas.
Okay. Atlanta United's Gonzalo Pineda got fired June 3rd, and Rob Valentino took over.
I'm pretty sure the Atlanta fans do not like their old head coach. I'm pretty sure they were really upset. And the current state of Atlanta United is it's a little rough, man. I've seen videos of their stadium. They're having hard time selling seats.
Okay, we technically can't get this guy because he's already signed for Nashville, but incoming coach BJ Callahan.
Now that I would heavily consider. He worked real wonders with the U.S. men's national team. And to be fair, just to show I'm not totally Hackworth biased, if Wilfred Nancy was considering the job at St. Louis City, I would definitely invite him to a meeting. If Chris Armas, the Rapids coach, was interested in the job, I would consider him as well. But yeah, for me, it's Hackworth just based on his knowledge of the club. He knows it in and out. He loves St. Louis. I don't think he wants to be anywhere else, and that love means a lot to me as a fan.
Okay. I don't disagree with any of your answers there. This is more of a segment to convince Grayson.
And I will answer some of the criticisms that I've seen about Hackworth online, because I think that one of the ones that I've seen is that like he's a little soft, like he doesn't light a fire under the players. But if you really, if you find a halftime talk, if you pay attention to any of his quotes, me personally, I would run through a wall for John Hackworth. If he asked me to run through a wall, I'll try. Why not? He is a man that inspires belief, a man that inspires confidence, and based on the job that he's done, putting players like Marcel Hartel, Cedric Toykert, and Simon Betcher in positions to succeed, he is who I want at the reins when players like Mackay Joyner, Caden Glover, and Brandon McSorley are up and coming, and when players like John Klein and Jose Kojima re-enter the picture.
Yeah. I was definitely with him knowing all the players, being so familiar with the club already, hearing all those names that Jacob just shout out, none of them none of them really spark any interest here. So, all right, you got
Give that
me.
man the job.
Give that man the job.
Give
We'll
him the
take it.
title.
What about Thomas Tuchel?
Okay.
That broke your brain.
I'm a big
Oh,
Thomas
man.
Tuchel fan.
All
I
right.
will always take him. I love that dude.
According to Transfer Market, there's quite a bit of free agent head coaches, a couple notable names. Joachim Low, the
I
one who snipped his butt at the
I
World
was
Cup.
gonna say,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
want
gonna
a
say
butt sniffer.
I don't know if I want that reputation, but he is a he's a World Cup winning coach.
Question: would y'all be considered a butt sniffer if it made you a World Cup winner?
Oh yeah.
Because I think I would take butt sniffer if it also had comma World Cup winner after it.
Yeah.
I mean, World Cup winner might even go before butt sniffer, but I don't know.
World Cup
Alphabetically,
winning butt sniffer.
If you look up Joachim Low's name on Google, what comes up first?
Probably.
This picture.
He's smelling the trophy.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Well,
Jeez.
anyways, that wraps up my point, man. I think Hackworth is the man for the job. And with all 3 points in the bag, just like St. Louis City, y'all ready to duke it out and get Clash?
Kit Clash! Ding, 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 ding. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for one of the last installments of Kit Clash for the regular season. We might do some fun little ones during the off season, we'll see. But we've got Houston Dynamo's away kits this week, and they're pretty decent. I'm gonna look them up for a little closer look.
Man,
but
so
the purple's cool.
Did you say they're decent?
Hold up. Hold
oh
up.
man, do
let
we
me
have
look
a
at them.
polarizing rating incoming or what? Jacob, do you have a fully formed opinion on this kit?
Yeah, you start.
Yeah, it's fucking ugly. Of all the Houston teams, like throughout all of sports, like the Texans, they have fire jerseys. Their color rush jersey this weekend was dope to look at. The Houston Astros have a great colorway. I love the Houston Astros jerseys. I don't like the Houston Astros because they cheated for a World Series, but they've got great jerseys. There's probably some other teams in Houston that I can't think of because the state is way too big for my brain to comprehend. But of all the jerseys they got in there, this one's the fucking ugliest. It is like such an intense purple. It is so harsh on the eyeballs. Like if they play on turf anywhere, the contrast of like how like HD turf fields look on 4K televisions and how intense this jersey looks on 4K televisions, it would make me go get my blue light glasses in order to watch the game because they're both so harsh. The only cool thing about this is the little Texas symbol with the HOU and an X on where Houston's located in the state. I think that's on the like bottom part of their jersey. That is the only cool thing about this jersey. This jersey might be my lowest rated jersey of the season, but it is a stark 1.0 out of 10.
Dang, son.
Real harsh.
Dang.
Real harsh. I
I
know it's
will
called
say,
the
yeah.
Still Holding kit. I think, in reference to the Texas Hold'em, but I'm not going for that. I'm not buying it. I as a resident of Louisville, Kentucky, I can tell you a thing or two about a good purple soccer jersey. Louisville City and Racing Louisville both do them right. They get them on the money. I agree with you, Jacob. I do not think this is a good purple jersey at all. Not a fan of the orange accent. I think the only thing about this kit is that cancer is crossed out, and that's a sponsor. So if you're getting points from that, don't know what to tell you. For me, a very low rated 2.5.
All right, I'm looking at it now. It looked better from afar when you're sitting at City
Mm,
Park, you know.
mm.
Um,
Grayson
looking,
switching up.
hold on. I said they were decent. Let's chill out. These are very boring. There's no designs, no anything. I will say Orlando City, they've got a better purple kit. It's just that's theirs, so leave it alone. I don't know. I don't know where this is coming from. I do like Houston's other kits better. This is gonna be a this is gonna be a three. Just a
Wow.
flat three. This is not very
Wow.
good.
A 1, a
Very,
2.5, and a 3.
I've seen better.
very low rating.
Many, many better kits.
Meh, 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 meh.
Wah, 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 wow. Well, moving on.
Oh,
Um,
I think as a part of Kid Clash, we should say RIP and au revoir to
I
these
was gonna
home
say,
kids.
yeah,
yeah,
it's their last time out. We definitely just gotta wave goodbye. These are a beauty, a beauty.
a perfect 10. A perfect 10. I will
Sad I
admit,
never copped one. If anybody wants to get me one for Christmas,
you
you
gotta get
know
them
where to
soon.
find me. You know where to find me. If you don't, I'll let you know the P.O. box.
Um, I w I will say when they dropped the kits at first, I was like, oh, I felt a little underwhelmed. But as I saw my team playing, I'm like, you grow to love them. They are
They
like
lived up to the hype.
so unique for an MLS kit. Um, and I just love them, and I'm so excited to see what they can put together for next season. So might even be better than this one. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Um,
know City's got like a lot of really good people in their design labs just as a whole for the club. So like I do have high expectations for the next kit to come, but I think I'll love it just as much because it is our team's kit.
mm,
I got a feeling I'll rate it a 10.
Yeah, just
we'll
a
see. We'll
soft
see.
touch.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. We do have a bit of a break. Our next and final match of the season is on the 19th. So we've got like 2 weeks, 2 weeks to look forward to it. Who
Who
are
are
we
we playing?
playing?
Oh,
The second leg of Minnesota United. This time,
Yep.
the highly anticipated away leg for St. Louis City. It was kind of teeing up to be a very exciting decision day. Unfortunately, the elimination has definitely stolen some of the hype from this match. Of course, familiar names like Holongwane and Yaboa still play for him.
Oh,
so
Uh,
familiar.
yeah,
still
two
burning in
people
my
that we
my
know
head.
so well. It does look like Markinich has actually gotten into their team, broken
Yep.
into their 11 recently. So I would not be surprised at all if he got a start against his former club. And of course, Robin Ladd, the all-star midfielder, is another really good player.
Boys, they've been on a tear since the end of League's Cup. They started it out by losing to Seattle 3-2, and then they beat San Jose. They beat us. They lost to Cincy. They beat Sporting Kansas City. They beat Colorado. They tied RSL, and they beat Vancouver.
Yeah, they were on the
Mm,
bubble kind of before. I think they were sitting in ninth place when we were trying to take
Get
the
in
playoff
there.
spot.
Yeah.
They have jumped up the table to seventh. They are on 49 points and nowhere near striking distance.
I will say,
Yeah.
like, all those wins are against teams that I would consider beatable for St. Louis City as well. So they are putting up more and more points and climbing up the table. But if you put St. Louis City in that position, I think we could have done it as well. They are a good squad, don't get me wrong. Um, and I am a bit nervous about this match. I want to go on a high note, and I want some revenge. I want to make their final regular season match just have a bad taste in their mouth and
Same.
knock them out of form before the MLS Cup run. So I would very much like a dub to end that streak there.
Yeah, I'd also like to just put them with a bad taste in their mouth going into playoffs, thinking about how poorly they played against St. Louis City. I think of course, other than an actual win on the night, what else would qualify as a win for you all to against Minnesota? For me, I think it's going to be a clean sheet. Will be a real victory on the night. If we can keep their pretty high flying attack quiet, then to me, big W going into next season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think I would
agree with
agree.
that.
I don't think it's going to be realistic, though. Like, this is our first clean sheet in 15 matches. For us to do it in back-to-back games, while it would be awesome, it's statistically not in our favor. Um, yeah, my prediction, I'm gonna go with a 2-1 gritty team victory, and someone like Akil Watts is gonna get on the score sheet for no other reason than vibes.
I like that.
I have no stats to back that up.
So I think St. Louis is gonna ride that high of the clean sheet. We're gonna put in another good defensive performance. They might even rotate some players as they're looking forward to the MLS Cup run. I know Lod had a very quiet match against us last time. Knock on wood. Let's run it back and let's shut up your boy too, your boy too.
Yeah,
So
boy.
let's shut up your boy. So yeah, I'd like to see it. Honestly, I'd like to see the same lineup that we had for this match, run back out again
Same.
and see what we can pull. I'm going with a
Hey.
2-0. What is that?
Okay, so I just got the notification. Sorry to cut you off, Grayson. The notification from the Toasted Raviolis. They posted us watching us to their story, and I'm just gonna read it off. It says, "Been wanting to post this for a while now. First, thank you so much at Ethan_TH for the second shout out on at St. Louis City Boys. That's us. Also Ethan_TH. That's you. Second, in the spirit of love for the STL City SC fan community, we want to say we can't agree with Ethan more. This clip, unfortunately, is cut of and doesn't include the shout out to the amazing STL fan DeLoreans, nor does it include the collective sentiment from the boys about the fan community, but nevertheless, they make clear that the know what we know. This is tough. I'm sorry, I'm butchering reading your post. The fan community is amazing. So much of our experience is because of the community, and just like the City Boys, we love you all. So for the third shout out on the podcast, shout out to Toast.
Oh man, they're so great. I love the toasted raviolis. Grayson, finish up your prediction because I definitely want to get into that more in our grab bag as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
my
sure,
fault
for
to
sure.
cut you off,
No,
bro. I
you're
just
good. You're
thought it
good.
was cool. I thought it
You're
was
good.
cool. I thought it was
It
cool.
is tight. That is tight. I was about to say we're going for a 2-0 win here for St. Louis City. I think our defense is going to shine strong again. We're going to get a man of the match from one of our center backs. How crazy is that going to be?
Okay.
Just because I think we're going to get a goal. possibly from Nilsson or Kessler, one of our center backs. So I'm gonna pick one. I think we're gonna get a goal for Nilsson. I want Nilsson back in that score sheet, hopefully with a header from a set piece from a corner or something. And then yeah, that big old clean sheet, the goose egg, the zero. That's what I want most from Minnesota. So
Me too,
congrats.
Grayson. Just because their attack is really solid. They
They're
also have Timu Puki. I didn't even bring him up in the players
yeah.
that I mentioned. Like they have a lot of quality in their attack. For my prediction, I would really love like a young guy to come on and score, whether it's like John Klein. Maybe if we, I don't know if Makai Joyner has any appearances left for the first team, but if he did, I'd love if he could come. Granted, I also wouldn't be surprised if he's focused on the playoffs. Anyways, for my
Or
goal
his
scorer,
U.S. youth national team call
oh
up.
yeah, what a flex. Makai Joyner on the youth national team, the U17 squad, going to Valencia, Spain too. Oh, how beautiful at 17 to play soccer. Kids living the dream, no doubt. If we can have a second teamer come up to the first team and play, then my prediction is whoever it is from them, whether it's Michael Wenzel, McSorley, whoever. If not, I want Joao Klaus to get on the score sheet before the end of the year.
So
I think
bad. So
that
bad.
would like not only shut up the people on Facebook who I think have a broken idea of what a striker is since Erling Haaland came into the limelight. So I want to see him score a goal. He is a very all-around and complete striker, and I can't wait for him to show the fans why he does deserve all the money that we pay him. So I'm going to say 3-0 on the night again, 2 in a row. Come on, clean sheet. I hope the defense stands strong. I
I love
hope
that.
if it's not Berkey in goal, who I do hope they take just for the sake of the people that want to see him in person, then I hope Ben Lunt gets a clean sheet too.
Mm.
But let's get into our grab bag, man, because we got some really awesome stuff to talk about. Not only the awesome love and amazing community that is the St. Louis City fan base as our home season wraps up, like Grayson getting to go to the game and getting to meet some people. We're planning on going to the STL Bino tournament on
Mhm.
November 2nd at Four Hands Brewing.
We're carrying that dub. Let's go, City Boys. We're gonna win
Yes,
the whole thing.
sir. Come out and say
The
hi. Come out and meet us.
I have the utmost faith in you to play well.
Training, training.
The fact that neither of you have ever played Bino before leads me to believe that you're probably not winning the whole thing.
Good day
But
to
you'll
make our
do a good
debut.
showing. You'll do a good showing for sure.
Can't lie, I did watch a bunch of Bino videos earlier, like some strategy, learning some form from the regulars. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it'll be a good time regardless.
Man,
I will
I'm
be
I'm
there
so
in
hyped to be
spirit.
there.
I'll be there in spirit.
We'll put a picture of you on the heart.
Just choose a good one, not
He
any
didn't
of the
die, I
cutouts.
swear.
Not any of the cutouts that Grayson has of my face. Don't use
Yes.
any of those.
But if you're thinking about going to that and you're on the fence, this is your sign to come. This is your sign to come say hi, come take a picture, come enjoy the community that is St. Louis City, because the club really is so much more than the players playing on the field. That's why I said earlier that it feels like I'm a part of the club because of the amazing community of whether it's fans, supporters, content creators. Everyone is so welcoming. I don't want to keep doing it, but I can't stop. It's so easy to do because everyone's so welcoming and loving. So I can't wait to be a part of that. Our first event as the City Boys. Like, I'm really proud that we're going to be there. We're supporting a great cause too. Jacob, you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, that's what, okay. Yeah. So in doing this event, we have to choose a charity that Ethan said we should choose one that means something to us. And there was a list put out by Grayson, and I got to thinking about it. And for those of you that don't know, one of the reasons I say make sure you tell your mother you love her at the end of each podcast is because when I was in high school, my mom had colon cancer, and that was a pretty scary time in our life. She is very much well and alive. She is something stupid now that I'm old, like 8 years cancer free or something like that.
Hell yeah.
But in that time, our family used the cancer support community of Greater St. Louis for lots of things. They're a really great organization. I know my siblings and I did like sibling therapy at one point. We recorded a song, which is the most cringy thing that I could listen to now as an adult, but at the time it was pretty cool. And my mom used it a lot for therapy. And they have a lot of really cool things that they offer. I know they've got like a walk that they do every year as well that we were a part of. But yeah, so I floated that out there to the boys as like this would be, a pick that means something to me and is a good charity organization that I would like to get behind and put my name next to. And so you unanimously voted that that's the one that we're going to be sticking with for this charity event. So yeah, come out, see the boys, take a picture with them and send it to our DM so that I can see everybody having fun without me and really, really test my FOMO. And yeah.
It'll be great. If you do get a picture of us, we'll make sure to throw it in an episode and shout you guys out. It'll be a great time. Very excited. Lots of big things in the future for St. Louis City Boys and connecting with the community around us. It's going to be a hell of a time. Um, Moving on, I do want to shout out a bunch of players and coaches. The MLS End of the Year Awards. We've got our nominees from St. Louis. We do have a bunch. We already mentioned Hackworth earning a nominee for Coach of the Year. He did beat out 7 other MLS coaches for that nomination spot. So yeah, and with so little time in the league too, that's a great great way to show how much he's done already.
Bring it back.
And then of course he may not be going. Oh wait, never mind. I was about to say he may not be gunning for Goalkeeper of the Year award, but he got nominated for that too. It's Roman Berkey, running back for Goalkeeper of the Year, of course. What was I thinking? And also running back for MVP. MVP. Most
in the
valuable
league
player.
with Messi.
Yep. And he definitely is our most valuable player right now.
Literally.
Hey, literally. But hey, that could change because 2 of our players have been nominated for Newcomers of the Year, and that is Hartel and Two Shirt. Choo choo. You know him, you love him. Very happy for the boys. Definitely future MVP nominations. And I do want to shout out Betcher. I think he should be in there too. Um, he has had a on fire start to his St. Louis City career, so hopefully we can bring him back for next season. We've got Thomas Totland earning a nomination for Defender of the Year. I honestly didn't see that coming. Maybe that's on me being and but hey, that's tight. Good for you, brother. And then shout out to Josh Yarrow. He got nominated for the Impact Award for his efforts providing for charities and different stuff he's done. I'm not exactly sure what all Yarrow's done, but I have seen some of his work on social media and stuff. So I'll definitely
He's
have
moving
to
in silence.
post some
In
stuff
silence.
if there is stuff out there. But
He
yeah,
does have a foundation named after him. He has the Josh Yarrow Foundation. If y'all are interested in looking into that more.
I wish he could have come up with a better name for that foundation.
Short
like
and simple.
The
Straight to
Josh
point.
Yarrow Foundation for elite defensive backs,
Wallace.
bench players, something like that.
Damn. Damn.
Bench Mafia. Who knows?
I will say that we did not nominate any players for young player or comeback player. I don't really think we could have a comeback player considering we did worse this year than last year. But young player of the year, I don't know. I wonder what age that goes to. But we might have a couple shouts for that. We'll see. We'll see.
Half our team could technically be young player of the year.
Yeah. We got a pretty young squad. Other than that, I knew we already shouted out, but shout out to Marcel and Betcher for both getting team of the match day again. So Cello's on a streak there. I think he's got 8 matches under his belt. I think he's got like 3 or 4 match day, man of the match days or something.
Insane. He's been so good
So,
since arriving.
indeed. But that is all my grab. Oh wait, I did have one more grab bag. I sent this to you guys on Twitter. Um, Azia Watson featured for the Columbus Crew this weekend.
Who? Azil who?
Azia
Azia Watts.
Watson?
Azia Watson.
Who?
Jesus
Oh
Christ. I don't even know who he
man.
is anymore.
Didn't
I
you
don't
have
even.
a poster of this guy?
Not anymore. I threw it away. I did not throw it away. I didn't throw it away. I didn't throw it away. It's just not on my wall anymore. Jesus. AZ Jackson. Jesus. Featured for the Columbus Crew, but not for long. I think he featured for exactly 13 minutes or so before he came on as a sub, played for 13 minutes, and then got subbed off by Wilfred Nancy. Um, when asked about it post-match, he said he saw something he did not like. Um, that would be he tried to flick the ball over a player right outside the 18-yard box. Didn't go very well. They ended up scoring immediately off that. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Listen, I'm not gonna hate on him, but maybe St. Louis did some good moves. Did some good moves. That's all I gotta say.
Part of me wants to say shoot or shoot, and the other part of me wants to say, thank God he's not shooting on this team anymore.
I think Sam Adeniran been fairly quiet for the Philadelphia Union as well. I know that Tim Parker's seen more minutes since playing against St. Louis City for New England, but yeah, I agree, Grayson. It seems like we have been on the pretty good end of some business deals this season.
Indeed. So just more proof that the stuff going on off the pitch behind the scenes is also doing very well for us this year. So
Yeah.
I have
Last
one
but
more
okay, go
I
for
have
it.
one more, Jacob. It's
Yep.
the MLS Next Pro
Yep.
playoffs are coming up, and St. Louis City 2 are definitely in those. I'm not sure if they're a 1 seed or a 2 seed. However, I do think it's worth talking about the way that MLS Next Pro does their playoff format because I think it's really cool. The 1, 2, and 3 seeds will choose their opponents from the 5, 6, 7, or 8 seeds. So they have a choice of their opponent, and the fourth seed plays the final remaining team. Therefore, St. Louis City will be choosing their opponent in the playoffs this season. I think it makes for some really competitive battles. There's some different ways that you can go about it. I know that Benny Feilhaber last year chose one of the best teams, and then Sporting Kansas City 2 ended up getting bounced in the first round. So there's some more reason to laugh at Sporting Kansas City. Just makes for some very intriguing fixtures. And given that St. Louis City's first team did not make the playoffs, I'm excited to watch St. Louis City in the playoffs this season.
My favorite little piece of choosing your opponent is if you are the 5 through 8 seed and a team chooses to play against you, that bulletin board material, I could do so much with that in a locker room as far as speeches, get the boys riled up. But yeah, that's why Sporting Kansas City got bounced early. Idiots.
yeah, that's a really crazy way to decide like the playoff run, and I love it. It just creates more storylines, adds more passion to the game. So I'm all for it. All for it. I guess any more grab bags? Are we chilling?
No.
I
Okay.
got
Jacob's about to hit the outro, but like he always says, tell your mother you love her. I will say, um, I got to meet City Views mom, Amy. What a lovely lady. Got to see her and talk about Will and his love for the game as well, and got to spend a little bit of time with my mother this weekend. So, Jacob, you can go ahead and take it away, but I just wanted to show some love to the moms out there. Yeah.
Okay, with that being said, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow and rate 5 stars. Follow our social medias. They've been posted on the video. They're linked in the description down below. And most importantly, we've said it 3 times. We're going to continue to say it every single podcast. Make sure you tell your mothers, you love them. Peace.
STL. STL. STL.